Hey everybody, it's Allie, and welcome to our Y&R Chat for Sunday, October 17th, 2021. Nobody died. Nobody got shot. Chancellor did not drop down from the sky. Nothing? Just a beautiful, boring wedding? All right. How wonderful, but disappointing. But wonderful, but also disappointing. I'm shocked that the biggest shock of the week was when Victoria gave Sally Spectra a big old hug to thank her for the dress. Alert the press. Sally seemed really to enjoy that hug, too. She really smiled and closed her eyes. She really leaned into it. Well, so much nicety nice. But what I would like to know is, how exactly did Billy bring a blackmailer to Victoria's wedding and still somehow walk away looking like the loving ex-husband, while Nick managed to take his place as being the big whiny jerk who just can't let Victoria make her own decisions? Okay, I was pleasantly astounded by Billy's moment of self-awareness after the wedding. He admitted that his pursuit of Ashland's secret past was really more about his unresolved feelings toward Victoria than anything else. Okay, that's great. But the fact that Jesse Gaines was creeping around the palazzo, hiding in the shadows, waiting for his moment to pounce, was Billy's fault. How did he get away with it? Billy brings Jesse to the dog fight and then accidentally lets him off his leash. How did Billy come out of this looking good to Victoria? Victoria knew that Jesse was there, and in the previews for next week, Victoria is talking to Victor, asking what exactly happened to old Jesse Gaines after he slipped away from her. Early in the week, Jesse came up to Ashland and started threatening him. Victoria finally walks in on the whole thing, and Jesse slips away quickly, but Victoria marches straight into Billy's room to chew him out, which Lily was also right in the middle of doing. But the difference is, afterwards, Victoria and Ashland just turned on their heels, whereas Lily slept with Billy. Like, what? Is this guy made of Teflon or what? Absolutely nothing sticks to him. He brings the groom's blackmailer to his ex-wife's wedding, and he still gets nookie at the end of the night? I don't get it. Italian nookie, no less. Maybe Italian cookie, too. I don't know, but definitely Italian nookie. I just don't know how we got here with Nick and Billy switching places. Nick should have, by all rights, had a chance to redeem himself this week. Instead, he decides not to attend the ceremony like a big whiny baby, and he ends up thwarting Jesse's plan to interrupt the ceremony and humiliate Ashland. Meanwhile, Billy is just sitting downstairs watching the wedding ceremony take place. La 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 la. And all the heat's on Nick. Nick didn't know any of the information about Ashland and the will, and he also didn't know that everyone else already knew. Nick was the last to know. But I cannot believe, knowing Nick and knowing the streak of goodwill and coolness that he's had going for a while now, I cannot believe that Nick entertained the thought for even 1 second of interrupting the ceremony to tell Victoria all about what he had just learned. I mean, thank goodness for cautious, caring, level-headed Adam Newman. Wait, what did I just say? Thank goodness for that member of the Newman family. Adam talked Nick down, but Nick really shouldn't even have needed it. Nick should have been sitting in the seats at the ceremony with the rest of the Newman family, watching the wedding, showing his support for his sister. Instead, Nick spent the whole week whining and moping around the palazzo. Victoria asked him not to go digging into Ashland's past. He did it anyway. She got hurt, and now he wants her to make him feel better about the whole thing? He shows up in Italy despite her telling him not to come, and she doesn't kick him out. She says to him, "Fine, you can stay." But then he whines back at her, "Yeah, but you don't really mean it." What more do you want from her, Nick? He also bit Phyllis's head off while he was moaning and groaning about it all, which of course sent her straight to Jack several times to complain about how she feels like an outsider at these Newman events. She just doesn't fit in with Nick's family. Okay, Phyllis, I'm gonna have to stop you right there. You are officially not allowed to complain to Jack about anything having to do with your relationship with Nick. It is not fair. And likewise, Jack is not allowed to give sage advice on this particular topic. This particular topic should be off limits. I don't even know why there are suddenly problems where there are no problems. What's the problem? What exactly is the problem with Phyllis and Nick? Next week, in the previews, we see that Phyllis is trying to address the problem that I have yet to know what it is exactly. I cannot wait for this. Gee, I cannot wait for the peeling apart of Nick and Phyllis's relationship problems, which don't really exist. But I will give Nick credit for locking Jesse in the bedroom and not letting him spoil the ceremony. I'm just baffled that Nick's thought process led him to the conclusion that, hey, maybe I'll ruin the ceremony instead. I don't get it. I'm baffled. I am also baffled by the fact that these palazzo bedroom doors lock from the outside. That is a terrifying feature of the palazzo. Nick and Adam go together upstairs to unlock the bedroom door. I expected Jesse to have crawled out the window. But instead, no, he's still there. Adam has secretly called Victor in to join them. And at the end of Friday's episode, the three Newman guys are closing in on Jesse like they're a street gang. And meanwhile, Billy, totally separate from all of the drama that he has created, is downstairs with Lily. He has just received a text message from Jesse with an attachment that is a video confession telling the whole story of Ashland and the will fraud. And Jesse tells Billy that if he doesn't publish this video along with a story within the hour, then he's going to send the video to all the other media outlets in the world. So Billy is left with a choice. Do I publish this article and have Victoria hate me again? Or do I let it get published by someone else and have Victoria hate me again? Okay, first of all, Billy, I'm going to help you make this decision. Should you publish the Gaines video confession? No. Absolutely, unequivocally, no. I mean, come on. We have got a full hour to figure this thing out. Gaines is upstairs right now being cornered by the Newman La Cosa Nostra. Let's just take this guy out right now. Make him an offer he can't refuse. And if he does refuse, we bury him in the vineyard. You know, just beyond the terrace. Oh, look at that view. Summer and Kyle hop-skipped over to Tuscany from Milan for the grand occasion. And it was nice to see them. I mean, that's really all it was, just kind of nice. Summer seemed particularly upbeat and animated and happy to be there. Kyle just kind of waffled into the background. But that's okay. He was cute, hair notwithstanding. I got used to the buzz cut as the episodes went on. Oh, yeah, I mean, Kyle and Summer really didn't add very much to the plot, but they did add some overall joviality to the occasion, and it was good to see them both seeing Sally at the wedding. Oh, yes, the drama of Genoa City got brought to Italy. Hey, Sally is part of the gang now. She's going to be there. There's nothing they can do to make her go away. She was Adam's date, after all, and everyone, I mean, absolutely everyone, even including Summer and Kyle, felt the need to needle Adam about his date at the party. I mean, one by one, it was Victor, it was Jack, it was Summer and Kyle. Everybody had to make sure to let Adam know what they thought about his date. But other than shooting dagger eyes at Sally and drooling over that spectacular wedding dress, Summer and Kyle really both just seemed like they were overall happy and successful and thriving, and it was good to see that after Y&R cut their story off at the knees. Oh, and they brought Harrison! Thank goodness Harrison was there. Future CEO of Jabot and Newman Locke, Harrison Locke. Could not help but notice that he did not have Zippy with him, though. I think Zippy's orange coat would have gone really well with the fall wedding. I wonder why he wasn't there. Trouble in paradise, perhaps? Did they have a falling out? Perhaps Zippy ate all the cookies from the cookie jar, and so Harrison had to banish him from the kingdom? Ooh, the Y&R chatters are dying to know the real scoop there. We have a new Noah. I had completely forgotten about the casting news that we were getting a new Noah. And boom, he shows up at the wedding. So, chatters, what are your first impressions of this new Noah? YRChat.com. That's our poll question for the week. You likey or you no likey? Give me your first blush impressions. Can't wait to hear. Yeah, I don't know. New Noah seems like he was East Coast born and bred. Grew up right next door to Bobby DeFranco. I don't know if he exactly gives me Nick and Sharon's son vibes. I wonder what the plan is for new Noah. Is he sticking around? It sounds like he's kicking around the idea of moving back to good old Genoa City. So why no Robert Adamson? Why did we recast? It seems to me maybe this guy was just chemistry cast, especially for Tessa. Those two were hitting it off splendidly in Italy, while Mariah back in Genoa City was dodging Tessa's phone calls. Oh, I really liked the conversation between Mariah and Kevin. How great was it that the writers connected Kevin's claustrophobia and his fear of being locked in, tight spaces, that they related that to Mariah's recent situation. I absolutely never would have connected that on my own, but I loved that conversation took place. I also really liked that Kevin seemed not as afraid as everyone else to just ask Mariah some hard questions. She didn't really answer them, but I think he could be a good future friend for her that actually challenges her. It's hard to believe, though, that Mariah would rather sit there and listen to Kevin's little dancing sugar cube story than talk to Tessa. Bless Greg Ricart's heart. He delivered that dancing sugar cube story like it was the funniest thing he'd ever seen. But I guess you had to be there. In reality, most people do not care about your cute kid stories, but Mariah's the perfect audience for it. Mariah wants to hear stories about cute kids. That's what she's into these days. She doesn't want to talk about art and music and float around the palazzo on a cloud. She just wants to be a mom. So maybe she's going to get what she wants, and maybe Tessa's going to take another direction. Maybe this is why we've gotten so much focus on Tessa and her perspective inside of the Mariah relationship. Maybe this is why the writers have led us toward so much empathy for Tessa, because they're gearing up to send her in the direction of someone else. If Noah returns to Genoa City, which I think it seems written in the stars that he will, he's going to end up walking right into a little pickle. He's going to be stuck between his never resolved feelings for Tessa and his sister's unresolved feelings about her pregnancy and her surrogacy. So yeah, I think brother-sister love triangle. Here we come. Again. Nate and Elena brought a lot of romance to our screens this week. I think Nate and Elena make a beautiful couple. They are just so relaxed together. I know that some people might say they're boring, but I'll call it comfortable, and I like that. I think there's nothing wrong with that on occasion, and there's no reason we can't just leave all of the drama to the bride and the groom, especially now. I loved seeing Nate and Elena in love. I was, of course, very tuned in to Nate's bout of writer's block. I was really feeling for him not being able to write his best man speech. I mean, what do you say about a man that nobody knows? Your purple paisley silk robe really brings out the color of your eyes? I don't know. I don't know how he did it. But Nate did it. He found the perfect way to not only describe his new friendship with Ashland, but also to complement the type of relationship that they have. And I thought he came up with the perfect best man speech, which he delivered to Elena just standing right there in front of the appetizer table at the pre-wedding cocktail party. What was that, though? Why did the best man speech happen before the wedding? Because you know he's not going to turn around and give it again. In fact, I think that Nate, his best man duties really just fell by the wayside as the week went on. I mean, Nate's best man duties basically started and ended at the cocktail party. He wasn't even standing beside Ashland at the altar. Isn't that what a best man is supposed to do? Nate was just sitting there in the seats, helping Harrison with the rings. Oh, but the fact that Nate's best man speech happened at the pre-wedding cocktail party, that's when it all started to dawn on me. The best man speech, Victor's toast, all the things that typically happen at the reception after the wedding happened in advance of the wedding at the cocktail party. And maybe, just maybe, that's because there will be no focus on a reception, because maybe, just maybe, the best of the drama is yet to come. The palazzo continued to grow this week. What a fantastic set. I'm just so impressed. Phyllis and Nick had a lovely golden bedroom added. Lily and Billy had a similar room in kind of beige and silver. Oh, you know I loved that. Honestly, if all of the unnecessary flashbacks that we've been getting for the past couple of weeks helped us save the money to buy these sets, then I say bravo Y&R for the ingenuity. Well worth it. The palazzo set has been a real treat. It has been like a vacation for the eyeballs. These Newmans really do know how to do it up. Hey, it's fun to be reminded of how fabulously wealthy they are. They don't do that as much as they used to. The Newmans even sprung for the entertainment. How lovely to be given multiple private performances by the Leslie Brooks with vocals by Tessa Porter. I tell you, I really did enjoy the music. Some of it was classic, kind of a little more formal, but then some of it, especially at the cocktail party, had a really jazzy vibe. I really liked it. I thought it was very accessible to someone like me who doesn't know music all that well. And you know me, I get a little bit grumpy sometimes over these special performances, but I thought Y&R did a really good job of tying the music into the event. We would listen to part of the song and then we'd shift into some conversation, and then we'd move back into some song and then back into more conversation. I think that really helped the cocktail party have a great flow to it. It felt very relaxed and very casual, but also very bougie at the same time. Now on to the fashion. The important part. Hey, in a week where there was kind of not all that much drama delivered, I think that it's appropriate to talk about the fashion that was delivered. And in some ways, that's more exciting. But I think we should start with the pre-wedding fashion. Can we talk about Ashland's purple paisley silk robe? He looked like such a snot in that freaking robe. Like, I would not be able to stand this guy in reality, walking around in a purple paisley silk robe. Oh no. But he fits right in with the context of the show, so it really worked. And his purple paisley silk robe really paired well with Victoria's silky pre-wedding cocktail party dress. Oh, that red dress just looked so soft and so silky and so smooth. I just wanted to rub my face all over it. Red, red, red. Ooh. Red is such a standout color for fall. But I also also noticed a fall color that we don't normally see a lot of, yet we had it last week and this week. Lavender. Do you consider lavender a fall color? I think last week Victoria had on that lavender dress that we talked about, and then this week Elena had on a lavender lace blouse before the cocktail party, and I just normally think of lavender as a spring color, but now that I'm thinking about it, I guess I can kind of see it for fall too. I just hadn't thought of it that way before. Elena's really rocking the lavender because she was also wearing lavender in her dress at the wedding. Elena looked like a beautiful, wet, shining mermaid in light purple, light blue ruffles. She was looking like she was just ready to crawl up out of the ocean. Oh. Well, okay, so on to the wedding fashion. That's a good transition to the wedding fashion. What did you guys think of Phyllis's cape? She looked like she really had a fun time twirling that thing around. Like she was ready to climb up to the top of the terrace railing and take a flying leap in that cape. It was Marchetti, did you know? It was very Italian. I mean, Phyllis looked very Italian. I thought the dress was beautiful. The hair was beautiful. The earrings were really cool and sort of vintage looking. But the sourpuss look on Phyllis's face the whole night just totally spoiled it. I could not even handle Phyllis's attitude the whole night. You could just see her. Even when the ceremony was going on, she was just like, meh. I mean, why'd you even go? Nick didn't go. Why didn't you just stay with him? Why would you feel obligated to go to his family thing without him and then just sit there and be a jerk the whole time? Or I don't know. It did not spoil the occasion, though, for me, because I thought that Nikki looked very beautiful in her purple sparkly ombre dress. Yes, long and flowy on one side. That was gorgeous. Aside from what I've already mentioned, I think mostly everybody else was wearing solid colors. We had Lily in mauve. She's gorgeous. Summer was in red. That was a really, really nice deep red dress. And then we had Sally in, I don't know, was it navy or was it black? It looked different in different lightings, but I thought it had a really interesting sort of forward set collar. Like it was high. It just kind of looked like she could, if she wanted to, just sort of set her face down into it and get a lovely steam facial. Now, normally, the guys completely fade into the background at these formal events, but our men really upped their fashion games for this one. Oh, Ashland in that velvety silver tuxedo jacket, perfectly fitting for the silver fox that he is. I also have to note that before he put on the jacket, he had this really interesting, deep, U-shaped vest on that it just looked very unusual. It looked very Italian, and it had these really shiny silver buttons that were very eye-catching. And speaking of eye-catching, then there was Nate. Good God. Good God. Nate looked spectacular in black and white with that very simple kind of dotted bow tie. And his eyes were just sparkling all week long. I was melting. And then there was Adam. Black on black on black. Hell yes. Adam knows how to dress. Black on black on black. It suits him. It was a great suit. It had that shiny black jacket collar on the outside. It was outstanding. Adam was outstanding. But I gotta give you a worse dressed. I'm sorry. Billy's wine-colored jacket? Hell no. Billy needed to blend in at that wedding, not show up wearing red. What a jerk. Bringing a blackmailer to the wedding and then having the nerve to show up in red? Same color as Harrison's jacket? Red. at a wedding. How rude. But now let's talk about the article of clothing that everyone has been anticipating. Sally's green and black Gore-Tex running suit. Thank goodness she brought that with her to Italy. That getup with the built-in gloves and buns for days, that thing should have been the talk of Tuscany. I wish she would have designed Victoria's dress to look exactly like that. Forget Goo Goo and Gaga and over Victoria's wedding dress. We need the running suit. Oh. But what did you think, chatters? I'm saving the best for last because, frankly, it was the most exciting thing about the whole wedding. What did you think of Victoria's wedding dress? Did you love it? Were you disappointed? Oh, I actually did love it. I mean, that's a little bit more my taste style. It's hard to say because I know there was so much hype, and it's hard to live up to the amount of hype that was put onto this one garment, but I just loved it anyway. I loved the simple elegance. I loved the silky material. I loved the silvery color. The back of it plunged for days. I mean, you've got to have quite a back to pull that thing off, and it was stunning, and I thought that Victoria was stunning in it. Oh, but I was just so absolutely tickled pink that Victoria ripped Sally a new one over the whole thing. Oh, Victoria goes to her armoire, ready to put on her dress, realizes it's not there, it's been swapped. So Nikki runs downstairs to go do some damage control. Sally overhears that Victoria now realizes the dress has been swapped. Sally runs up to Victoria's bedroom and gives her the pitch about how she designed this dress for Victoria, body and soul. And instead of Victoria giving it a chance, which it kind of seemed like she was going to do right before Sally got there, Victoria lashed out. She was furious. She told Sally that she had miscalculated, and she sent Sally Spectra running out the door in the opposite direction with her tail between her legs to go get the original dress, and not just to bring the original dress to Victoria. No. Just hang it on the door and then sink away in disgrace. Oh, that created the tension bubble that popped beautifully when Victoria came around the corner, and surprise, she was wearing the gorgeous Sally Spectra custom designed dress, and I tell you, I totally teared up when I saw it. I felt like that moment was somehow just as meaningful as the hour-long wedding vows. You know I can be entertaining. It was almost like a premonition. That was last week's Who Said It quote. You know I can be entertaining. It was Sally Spectra who said it. She was trying to convince Adam to let her bum a ride on the private jet to get to Italy, but it really proved to be true. Sally Spectra was the most entertaining part of that wedding for me, and I'm so glad that you guys guessed it was her. Henry, Sandra, Herman, Doreen, Nancy, Ellen, Marianne V, Brittany, Victoria, and Jamie. You guys got it. But can you do it again? Here's another nice, just small little line that I liked. You tell me if you think you know who said it. Oh, sweet anticipation. It's just a nice little moment. Oh, sweet anticipation. Who said it? If you think you know, go to yrchat.com to leave your guess. And if you get it right, I will give you your sweet shout out during next week's Y&R Chat. And now on to your sweet comments. Oh, quickly, starting with Leslie, who says, I'm watching Olivia Allen Lind in Chucky. I think it started this week and it's pretty good. Gosh, she seems so much older. Yes, Leslie, I saw that the new Chucky had premiered, and this is the show that we lost little Faith, our little Faith too. We lost our little Faith to Chucky. That's so crazy. But yeah, I saw that had just premiered, and I was wondering if anybody was watching it and how it looked. I think there's only been maybe one episode, but it does look very ominous, and it seems very perfect for this time of year. A little bit of horror for this time of year. So keep us posted on if you're liking it and if it's worth the watch. I think it would be, just to see her in a totally different role. Oh, well, let's talk about this Sally Spectra. Daisy says, I think it was really cruel that Victoria put a dress above her niece. Sally has never apologized for what she did to Summer. And now she's getting something that she wants, even after everything she did. So it's possible that Sally's not beyond doing something nefarious again. At this point, it looks like this is who she is. However, making it seem like Sally finally had all her dreams come true, including that kiss, might be setting the stage for Chelsea's return. Chelsea would never let Sally get away with the things she's been doing. She may even try to take her down a peg or two, especially for flirting with Adam. But more importantly, Chelsea would not like Sally trying to get to Adam by befriending her son. Oh yeah, a couple good points in there, Daisy. I mean, I think when it comes to Summer, look, it's not about where Summer ended up. Yeah, Summer ended up with a great job. She ended up with her great husband. She ended up with Harrison at the end of the day. Everything worked out for Summer, but that doesn't totally cancel out the fact that Sally pulled some pretty nasty tricks in order to do it. I mean, Sally pushed Summer out of the way, not because she wanted to have her to have some great job. That just so happened to work out. Yeah, I think that's a fair point, and speaks to where Sally is in the development of her character. It did seem odd that we were even bringing any of that back up for the wedding. It was just a little nugget, just a little moment. I don't think it needed to play very big, but it does also speak to the fact that story was kind of unresolved. It all just got cut out. And to your bigger point, I really like that you're reminding us that Chelsea's going to be coming back soon. She's not gone forever. One of these days, Chelsea's going to walk through the door, and based on the previews that we saw for next week, Chelsea's going to be walking smack dab into the middle of Adam and Sally starting up a real romance. I love the moment when he grabbed her hand at the wedding, and I loved seeing the preview of them kissing because I'm ready for it. I don't know what happened. I just snapped, and all of a sudden, I'm like really into Adam and Sally. I think they make a super hot pair, but boy, this is a great point that Chelsea's not gonna like it. We already know that Chelsea was expressing some interest in getting back together with Adam herself, so she's definitely not gonna want to see Adam moving on with her. So I think we're definitely gonna be getting that as far as future conflict. Are you guys excited to see Chelsea come back though? I feel like Y&R has really dragged Chelsea up and down and all around and all through the mud. And now if she comes in and is posing a challenge for a couple that, for the most part, it seems the viewers seem to like, most viewers seem to like the Adam and Sally pairing, I think Chelsea getting up in there and challenging that's just going to make Chelsea look even worse. I don't feel particularly excited about Chelsea coming back. I'm not sure exactly where she's going to fit, but it's going to need to be a little something more than just Adam and Sally and challenging them in order to really make me want to continue to see Chelsea and continue to root for her. I mean, she pulled some pretty nasty tricks right before she left town. That didn't fully get resolved because we needed to send the actress away on maternity leave, and so I think her story got cut off at a little bit at the knees. But I would like to see Chelsea continue on her redemption track. I would like to see Chelsea maybe inserted more so into Sharon and Ray's lives as opposed to Adam and Sally. Well, Sherrod says, despite her antics with Summer and Kyle, this is why I love Sally. She is bold, sure of herself, and willing to show and tell you exactly who she is while going after what she wants. Side note, Sally introduced herself to Noah, but I don't remember her ever meeting Tessa. I don't remember that either, Sherrod, but I did take note of Sally introducing herself to Noah. And I was thinking to myself, is there any way that they're going to have something going on there too? I mean, Sally is single. Noah's technically single. Is there any chance that those two might hook up? I don't know, but I do like Sally. It's taken, honestly, I think it's kind of taken the relationship with Adam to help turn me around on Sally, because I think as a person, she probably would not be someone who I would trust in my life or want around me. But as a soap opera character, I do think she does a good job of moving forward the drama. And the actress Courtney Hope is certainly very capable of making you want to root for the humanity of the Sally character. So I think there's still a lot more to come for her, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. Let's talk about Victoria's dress. Jamie says Victoria's wedding look is a stunning mix of Grecian goddess-inspired statuesque and modern sophistication. I am ready to show some love to Victoria. This legacy character has been through the whirlwind of traumatic events over the last decade plus, starting with the damn reliquary storyline. I'm ready to see this woman thrive and find happiness. I know she can be an icy piece of work, but trauma and PTSD can take a tremendous toll on a person. Let's give this lady some room to acclimate to all the upheaval in her life and make her way back to steady footing and remembering what safety and stability feels like. Oh yeah, and can we just let her be in love for love of everything? I'm ready to. It was really nice to see the dress, but it was more so nice to see the happiness on Victoria's face. There was that moment where Adam is convincing Nick to not go busting up in the wedding, and I think Adam said something to the effect of, just look at that look on her face. Do you want to be the one to take that away? And the camera panned over to her face, and the smile on her face was bigger and more genuine seeming than I've seen in a really long time. So yeah, Victoria looked beautiful in the dress, but also Victoria just looks beautiful from the inside out on that day. Although Consuela says they built up the magnificence of the dress, and to me I was disappointed. It was only slightly better than Lauren's dress. Yeah, Consuela, I can't see that because it was very simple. I mean, the way we were going on and on about it almost made you think that it was going to be wildly detail-oriented, and what the dress actually was just very sort of strategically simple. And sometimes that's harder to achieve, right? Sometimes it's even harder to achieve a really good, simple design as opposed to something that is very ornate and detailed. But Naomi says, I loved Victoria's dress, and Phyllis was quite funny twirling around in her very shiny twirly dress. Yeah, we had the Sally Spectra design next to the Marchetti design, didn't we? Yeah, I liked Phyllis's cape. And I thought she was having fun in it. T. Nicole says, I loved Sally's wedding attire. She looked stunning, and I think it was my favorite guest look out of the women. Summer's dress would be my second pick. Yeah, I really really liked the collar on Sally's dress. I thought it was very interesting. And here again, it was a simple design. It was a simple cut, but it had this one very fascinating feature of it. And I thought that really elevated it. I thought Summer did look very beautiful in that deep red. And Tina Cole, my goodness, you are having an amazing October. Your birthday is coming up this Tuesday, October 19th. So you have birthday coming up on Tuesday. You got married 2 weeks ago. October is going to be your month. Happy birthday, Tina Cole. And again, congratulations on your marriage. I mean, October is going to be like presents month for you. You're going to get anniversary presents followed by birthday presents. That's going to be fantastic. Let's keep talking about this fashion. Because Victoria says, Nate and Elena looked gorgeous at the cocktail party. Elena has never looked more beautiful and stylish in her ballet pink tie wrap outfit. She was glowing. Nate looked debonair in his deep purple jacket with coordinating patterned shirt and solid tie. His twinkling hazel eyes topped off his look. And when they were standing by the buffet laden with tasty treats, it was perfection. Oh my goodness. Victoria, I think it's his hazel eyes. It's that he has his eye color is very stunning. It is. That's what it is. I have been having a hard time putting my finger on exactly what it is that is so attractive about him. But he has like the perfect eye color shade. And perfect everything else. But, yeah, hazel is a good color description of it. But, yeah, obviously, I thought he looked amazing, and I thought Nate and Elena looked amazing. There was this beautiful moment that I screen capped where it was just maybe from the chest up, Elena and Nate. She was kind of leaning on him from behind, and they just made a beautiful couple. Elena's hair is so tight and curly and cute right now, and they just look happy, and I'm happy for them. I don't need them to be full of drama, especially not this week at the wedding. I thought just their simple presence elevated the romance of the overall scene. So I was very glad they were there. Weighing in on the men's fashion, Henry says, Ashland Locke was sharper than sharp. He was one clean dude. I don't even have a second place. Ashland was the man. Yes, I know. He was the man of the hour, and he looked it. I did love that silver. It just went so well with his hair. And I loved how all of the men's jackets were so textural. It was velvet. It felt like you could touch it and it would be fuzzy. And I thought that was perfect for fall, winter. It just added a little something visually. It's usually your suit jackets are matte. You know what you're going to get out of a suit or a tuxedo jacket. But just elevating that to that velvety velour type of fabric just added another dimension visually to what is otherwise, you're just watching a flat screen, and just something about that velvet just popped out, and that color Ashland was wearing was just silvery. And I think that the velvet jackets look good on everybody except Billy. Sue W. said, Billy looks ridiculous. Is he trying to call more attention to his rascally self? Exactly. It's not that it was a bad jacket. It was just, I don't know what it was. It just clunked down in front of my face. And Ellen says, Billy looked like a Broadway usher from the 40s. Oh gosh, that nailed it. Broadway usher from the 40s. I mean, maybe if he was attending his own wedding in that and chose that jacket, all right. But you ain't got no business choosing red. You're not in the wedding party. You're the ex-husband. It should have been a goal of yours, Billy, to just blend in. You don't show up wearing red, trying to upstage the groom. Well, it didn't happen. Didn't happen. Billy wanted the attention to be on himself, maybe. Well, let's talk about Billy. Leslie says, I loved the scene with Billy sharing his feelings with Lily, and it was so believable and so unhateable. I can 100% relate to his feelings. I've felt that way for myself and for the characters on the show at times. It would be tough watching everybody accept Ashland as if he's better than Billy, good enough, and more worth forgiving, and therefore more worth loving than Billy. Gosh, Leslie, that's a fantastic way of putting it. I think you put it to me better than I think Billy put it. Yeah, it really was about Billy's unresolved feelings in the relationship with Victoria. And you're right. I mean, everybody does go out of their way to make Billy feel like he was not good enough for Victoria. And Billy knows that deep down, that he really messed up that relationship. And that's his worst fear, that he was never good enough for Victoria. It's not even just as much about today, but it's about his past. And, you know, did he spend the last decade of his life, not being good enough for a woman who he, by all rights, loves and respects and still cares about today? So yes, this was an absolutely poignant moment. It was much needed. And it's interesting, though, that he didn't come to the conclusion until after he lost. He didn't come to the conclusion until after the deed was done. Although, I guess on the other side of that, you might argue that him seeing Ashland and Victoria saying their long vows, really being able to dig into the ways and the reasons that they love each other, and Ashland even addressing some of his issues of the past. I mean, I think that maybe seeing that could have affected Billy and his opinion of the situation too. Yeah, those vows too, they sure were long, weren't they? And it almost was as if they were tailor-made to the detractors, to the things that people had been saying about their relationship, and that seems appropriate. But Victoria says, I also thought that this was a wonderful scene between Billy and Lily. Billy was definitely in touch with his feelings of insecurity. Lily does seem to attract insecure males who feel they need to prove themselves in ways that are hurtful. But the question is, will Lily hang in there until Billy gets his act together? My vote is no. I think she's gained enough confidence to recognize this pattern. Oh, I don't know if Lily has, I don't think Lily's going to be leaving him anytime soon. It really almost seems like Lily forgives anything that Billy does, as long as he expresses some kind of self-awareness about it, as long as he doesn't go too far. You know, I mean, he'll get real far on his leash, and then he knows when it's time to come back to his master and apologize, and then she seems to be okay forgiving him. Ellen says Lily always lets Billy off the hook. They should give her character more teeth. The woman has been to prison. It's interesting, yeah. Does it bother you guys that Billy always does seem to get off the hook, that Lily sort of forgives him anything? Diana says it could be that Lily's character has accepted Billy for the way he is. She accepts Billy's negative qualities, and so she must feel like the good qualities outweigh the bad. Billy keeps their relationship challenging, which seems to keep Lily interested. She's attracted to the bad boy in him. There's never a dull moment. Yes, that's a wonderful counterpoint, Diana, that it might purely be that Lily understands that or believes that the good qualities in Billy outweigh the bad, and as long as he's someone who continues to try, then he is worthy of the forgiveness that he seems to constantly be seeking, and acceptance that he seems to be seeking. Because yeah, I think Billy is a very insecure person, and I think he does look to his mate to validate him. I think he for some reason has trouble with his own moral compass, so he needs to have that stabilizing force in his life to so that he can tell where he is, and if he needs to pull back or move forward. And Lily is certainly doing that for him. Yeah. Gary says, I'm not one to do this, but I replayed that opening scene with Victoria confronting Billy 10 times. It was so quick and to the point, and when Victoria and Ashland turned on their heels to walk out of the room, the look on Lily's face. Look at the look on Lily's face. Victoria had told Billy, for the love of God, let me go. But still, Lily doesn't seem to quite get Billy's obsession. If that scene had played with Victoria and Billy alone without Lily and Ashland in the room, it would not have had its punch. Oh, that's interesting. I really wasn't. I don't know. It did seem almost so quick, and we just moved on from it. It just seemed to me so instantly that Victoria just was like, whatever. These people are just here, they can attend or not attend and whatever. It didn't seem like she really lingered on it very long. And also by that point, I was starting to, I think, probably realize that the attention was shifting over to Nick. But this is an interesting point, the look on Lily's face. But yeah, okay, so the other thing here is we really did not get the resolution on Billy and Victoria's relationship alone, which I think you're making a good point that I almost wish that scene would have been alone, because if it truly at the end of the day, if Billy's obsession was about himself and his unresolved feelings in his relationship with Victoria, then yeah, maybe Lily and Ashland shouldn't have been there. Maybe we could have had a moment of just Billy and Victoria talking to one another, and maybe her sitting down and telling him how she feels about Ashland. I mean, that's something they did months and months ago, and it really seemed to affect him and change his opinion of Ashland. And then he flipped back to his pursuit. But yeah, I think you make an interesting point that maybe that scene needed to be alone. Well, just different topic here. Victoria says, the rift between Phyllis and Nick, will it develop into a chasm? Oh, a chasm. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I just am not sure exactly what is the rift. It just seems so convenient-y. Again, it feels like a rewrite or something. Billy was the one charging all of in everything forward. Billy was the main force behind moving the plot forward. All of a sudden, Billy got plucked out, Nick got plopped in, and then we added this layer of Phyllis and Nick having a complicated relationship and Phyllis's feelings with Jack. I mean, it just came out of nowhere. It didn't seem to transition smoothly there for me, and so I'm having a hard time understanding what the problem even is with Phyllis and Nick. I'm interested to see what they're going to say next week, because the look on Phyllis's face is, oh no, we have this insurmountable problem in our relationship and maybe we'll never be able to make it work. Maybe we were never meant to be. Well, why exactly? What happened? What changed? Phyllis doesn't like Nick's family. That's it. Phyllis doesn't like Nick's family. And Nick is being a whiny baby, and all that's about his relationship with his sister anyway. It's got nothing to do with Phyllis. None of this has got anything to do with Nick and Phyllis. So why does it have anything to do with Nick and Phyllis? That's my point. Oh, let's get started talking about new Noah. Sandra says, Noah is so sweet to Tessa. I can see Tessa turning to Noah after adoring Mariah's coolness toward her. Tessa falls into bed with Noah and oopsie, gets pregnant. Ooh. Yeah, again, I really think that all of this coldness, all of this attitude, all of this selfishness from Mariah, which most people seem to be picking up on and feeling, like Mariah is being unreasonable in the relationship, all of that is really leading us to an understanding of Tessa's position, and perhaps leading us into an understanding of Tessa's decision to leave Mariah, or maybe it's explaining why Tessa will be vulnerable to falling back in love with Noah. Yeah, I didn't ever connect the problems in Mariah and Tessa's relationship specifically to Noah. I just simply forgot that he was being recast. Sharad says, I'm loving this Noah with my Tessa. Their connection reflects on screen, and yes, they will probably end up in bed together, but I don't want Tessa to be pregnant. Not now. Oh gosh, if Tessa got pregnant with Noah's child, that would be such a twist of the knife for Mariah. Oh my gosh. You know what, though? That's fully sinking in for me right now, and that would be pretty good. That'd be a pretty good twist. But maybe it's one of those twists that's better to just think about here at Y&R Chat as opposed to playing out on screen. But yeah, I'm happy to know, Sharad, that Noah is a suitable mate for you. This Noah is a suitable mate for your Tessa. I can definitely feel the chemistry between those two. It seems to me that this actor must have been tested specifically to be a match for Tessa. That's how much the chemistry really comes through on screen immediately. Diana says, I don't get why Mariah totally blew off Tessa when she called. I guess it's supposed to be because Mariah is not very happy with Tessa about her not wanting to have a baby at this time. But I also wanted to mention, Allie, that the reason Mariah asked Tessa to carry the baby was because the doctor told Mariah to wait a year before getting pregnant again. Oh, yeah, Diana, that helps solve it, because I was thinking, why is Mariah pushing Tessa to have the baby when she could just have the baby? I forgot that she was advised by her doctor to wait a year. Is that normal? Waiting a whole year? I have no idea. I'm never doing it again. After having my kid, I said, okay, I'm never doing that again. Normally, I say, as a general life rule, I'll try anything twice, but it only took once for me to know that that's not for me. I'm gonna never do that again. Oh. Well, let's talk about last week's poll question. I asked you guys, do you want Victoria and Ashland to be married? 69% of you said yes to the marriage and the wedding. 31% of you said no. So the majority of us got what we wanted, Victoria and Ashland to marry happily. Gary says, I want Ashland and Victoria to live happily ever after. Especially Ashland. I like that. That's a real subtle, nice zinger there. Yeah, I'm hoping that Ashland lives forever after as well. I think he really fits a nice role on the canvas that needed to be filled, whether it be filled by Ashland Locke or another gentleman of his age. I think we needed a new guy in that age range, and I think he's a wonderful match for Victoria. I'm 100% on board with Ashland Locke. I thought that their very long vows also continued to convince me that he loves her. I do think he loves her. I don't think there's anything foul that he's got planned for her. I think this is strictly a romance, and the fact that that Y&R went through with just giving us the wedding and no drama really, really speaks to that. Oh, but some of us, myself included, are still waiting for the drama. Kamna says, I'm really hoping for some kind of twist. Here are my 3 wish scenarios. Number 1, Victoria has known this whole time and is playing Ashland. Number 2, Jesse Gaines is Ashland's brother. And number 3, Ashland tries to kill Victoria once the deal is done, hence his "till death do us part" joke. I'd love for them to eventually get together, but this is too easy, too fabulous, and too boring. Well, Y&R Viewer 123 adds a twist to that mix. How about Jesse Gaines is the real Ashland? Ooh, that would be a big twist. Ashland not knowing that the real Ashland is still alive. Ooh, yeah, that'd be a good one too. Oh, man. I tell you, I was waiting for the twist all darn week. Superplex was with me saying, after what Allie said this past podcast, I am on a death watch right now. I'm calculating the dramatic moment. It's probably scheduled for Friday. I imagine it will arrive immediately following Billy's attempt to sabotage the proceedings. He will be the fall guy for Ashland's death, and his reputation will suffer commensurately. It's about time that Billy gets humiliated and has his face dragged down through the mud. Superplex. Me too. That's where you would think it was going. Ashland was going to die, and Billy was going to have egg all over his face, and in fact, like way more than that, that Billy was going to become the target for everyone's fury, and everyone was going to blame him for Ashland's death somehow. It's like we always trip ourselves up waiting for the twist that never comes. I mean, like, we're always always wrong, too. That's the thing. Every time we get ourselves whipped up into a fury about what the twist is going to be, we always end up wrong or disappointed. When will we, I mean I, learn a lesson here? All week I thought Friday. I'm waiting. Probably going to be about less than 5 minutes of Friday's show before Ashland drops dead. And then as the vows went on, longer and longer, I'm like, oh, he's a dead man. Just waiting for the last, maybe it's the last 3 minutes of the show. I'm just waiting for Ashland to collapse now. But I still think it's possible there could be some drama next week. Gary says that was a surprise, though, wasn't it? Imagine Nick ruining Victoria's wedding with the secret she already knows, which is the last thing he would want to do. I thought it showed great restraint by the writers in letting the wedding happen over thinking that the viewers are going to be disappointed if we don't get those 184th wedding vows interrupted by our soap. Yeah, it really kind of did play against the expectation there, but I think it's interesting you categorize it as a strength of the writing that they just allowed the wedding to take place as opposed to feeling obligated to give us the big twist that we're all anticipating. Well, I'm not ready to drop set chat just yet because Victoria says I have to mention again how impressive the sets are in Tuscany. I especially feel the room I especially like the feel of the room that Lily and Billy share. Lily looked beautiful talking to Billy beside the open window, and the breeze was blowing through her hair, and you could see the tile roof out the window. This gives attention to detail and makes me hope that the storylines on Y&R will not be so predictable. Oh, yeah. I saw that tile roof outside the window, and yeah, it can't be said enough. What a wonderful set, And I would take the wonderful set over the big drama. I'm okay with it. I just thought it was beautiful. And, Victoria says, boy, I wish Phyllis had dug into her gift basket. I am green with envy. I'd have loved to see what Victoria, Ashland, and Nikki felt should be included to treat their guests. I will cross my fingers that one of the characters shows us what was included in the gift basket. Victoria, the gift basket on the bed. I wanted to see those gift baskets too. I thought that was such a nice touch, but the gift basket wasn't even mentioned or alluded to at all. It was just there. And that just added, honestly, a touch of realism for me. I mean, just the fact that it's like, gift basket's just there. Someone thought of that, didn't need to write it in. It's just something that was thought of as a set piece and really added to the realism. I loved it. I'm all in for the curiosity of what exactly was in the gift basket. Why don't you tell me? What do you guys think was in the gift baskets? Maybe some bath salts. Maybe a new iPod. Maybe a revolver with Jesse Gaines' name on it. Okay, everybody, that does it. I mean, once again, do you really even need the drama to be on the screen when all the good drama is right here on Y&R Chat? We can just let the show play straight, and we'll just make up our own drama behind the scenes here. It's fun because then we don't really have to deal with the consequences. We can just blow each other's minds with the most amazing twist theories. It's so in my blood to just want to predict storylines. I don't know what it is. I just enjoy the predicting of where the story is going to go, and it never goes there. I would have sworn. I would have put money on the fact that Ashland was going to drop dead at the altar, and he didn't. Boy, it's a good thing I didn't put money on that. Oh. Well, why don't you go to yrchat.com? Tell me what you're putting your money on for next week. I do think they've got to move the plot next week. I think they knew that they were going to give us this romance. We all got it. We all got the feel goods. But they got to do something with Jesse. He seems like the kind of guy who it would be perfect just to kill right now. And then everybody wonders, who killed Jesse? Was it Ashland? He seems like he'd be the most likely suspect, but would it be Victor? Who knows who was pushed over the edge? Maybe Victoria killed him. Who knows? I don't know. Who done it could be a little fun, but I don't know. You guys let me know what you're thinking about the show. I always do enjoy hearing from you guys. So again, yrchat.com. Don't be shy. I want to hear from you. I want to hear your theories, and I want you to come back next week to chat with me again about the show. I love you guys. Hope you have a really good week.